So the reality is furloughs, job cuts, reduced hours. A lot of Americans are feeling the pain financially from the pandemic, and the airline industry has been hit especially hard. Fort Worth-based American Airlines sent potential furlough notices to more than 20,000 employees, and this really is just the start. Let's go live this morning to Daybreak's Chris Sadeghi. He's a DFW International. And Chris, this of course all has to do with the demand. We have seen so few people fly these days.
It has definitely dropped, Kara, and every Thursday we await the Bureau of Labor numbers on unemployment. In the past few weeks, they've seemed to get a little bit better, but not in the airline industry, where things are looking grim, especially when you consider the latest news from American. On Wednesday, the airline sent a letter to their employees from their CEO and president saying they need to cut up to 25,000 jobs by October 1st, when the federal assistance expires. That's about 20% of their total workforce. It will include about one out of every 5 pilots and an even greater percentage of flight attendants. Nearly 10,000 of those jobs will be cut. The Fort Worth-based airline has about 130,000 employees, and around 30,000 of them are here in North Texas, making them the area's second largest employer, behind only Walmart. American said travel revenue in June was down 80% from last year. They'll start making the cuts by offering early retirement packages to the employees who qualify, and American is hardly alone. United Airlines made a similar announcement, estimating nearly 36,000 of their employees could be cut. Another big local carrier and big employer in the area, Southwest Airlines, in a similar situation. Both they and American are expected to release their earnings report next week, at which time we should see exactly how big a hit they are taking and how big of a ripple effect it will leave in the local economy. Mark, back to you.
Oh, could be a massive hit. Thank you, Chris. It is 6:05, and here's a look at some other headlines surrounding COVID-19 this morning. The Texas Education Agency is expected to release some more guidance today on fall schooling, specifically whether to allow local health officials to decide on offering online classes only. That's something a lot of districts have been clamoring for. Another hot topic, the STAR test. Texas PTA has asked Governor Greg Abbott to apply for a federal waiver which would pause that standardized test. And boy, a lot of you folks agree with that idea. You can continue to weigh in by going to our poll, WFAA.com/vote now. Certainly the Texas PTA would like to see that paused as well. This week, the Texas A&M University system plans to begin offering free on-campus COVID-19 testing for students, faculty, and staff. They've set aside $16 million for this program. You've got to have some symptoms or suspect that you've been exposed to somebody who is infected with the virus. 6 residents at the same nursing home in Parker County have died over the last few days after a staff member there tested positive for COVID-19. All the patients were tested after that. Some did test positive. At least 3 who died had been in hospice care. It is not clear just yet if the other 3 deaths were because of the virus or not. And it's been a slow return to sports, but how about NASCAR holding its biggest event of the pandemic yet? Last night, more than 20,000 fans attending a race in Bristol, Tennessee. All of them socially distancing in the grandstand. You had to wear a mask to get in, but not once you got inside. This is maybe the largest sporting event we've seen since the winter. Now let's send it back to Kara.
You know, here in Texas, most of our counties already have a mask mandate in place. You wear one if you're in public and can't social distance, or perhaps you go to the grocery store. The mask debate, though, has been one that's become increasingly contentious during the pandemic. Health experts say now that if we all wear one, things could be headed in a better direction. Hera Placencia live this morning at her house, and she has more on what retailers are doing across the country, regardless of where you live, as far as the mask mandate is concerned.
Yeah, hey there, good morning, Kara. So starting next week, Walmart, Kroger, and Kohl's, they're all going to be requiring their customers to wear face masks. And actually, if you were in a Best Buy or a Starbucks, as of yesterday, they're also requiring people in their stores to cover their face as well. Now, here's what the CDC had to say about face masks this week. Dr. Robert Redfield said that if all Americans were to wear a mask in public, the spread of COVID-19 in the U.S. could be brought under control within 2 months. The CDC director in favor of a universal use of masks. But Kara, as you mentioned, we know that masks have been quite the political hot topic. The Georgia governor now explicitly banning Georgia cities and counties from ordering people to wear masks in public places. Yesterday, he voided orders that at least 15 local governments across the state had adopted. The Republican governor has instead been trying to encourage voluntary mask wearing, including telling fans that reduced infections from mask wearing would make a college football season possible. Now, speaking of college football, a lot of people wondering if big events like that are in our near future, many asking, just how likely is it are you to come in contact with someone with COVID-19? Well, this map created by Georgia Tech shows you the risk in our area, and it doesn't look that great for North Texas. For an event with 100 people in Tarrant County, the chance that at least one person is infected, 96%. Collin County, 82%. Denton County, 79%. And no surprise, based on the number of cases, Dallas County is the highest at 99%. Now, also according to that map and that research, even with events with just 10 people, the chance that somebody has it, they say, is 41%. Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Ariel.